today. Okay, since that record drop, man, that's still one of my most liked songs from Vector the Viper. Get Down, Vector featuring Two-Face. So this is what I do when I have OGs in the studio. So what I do is I just look for one song that actually just stands out and just play. Jimmy Jai was in the studio the other day and I played Style, and so I always would just yeah, I know, just go back and just just rejig people's minds, man. Yes. So I'm more than a decade strong, still doing the business right now. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Vector, the Viper right now. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, bro. How far was
I'm great. It's fantastic to have you here in the studio, man.
Great to be here again.
Yeah, always a vibe, speaking with you and just speaking your mind as regards everything that's going on. So yeah, a new record with GoodgirlLA. I never saw that coming though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what actually necessitated you actually jumping on the record with GoodgirlLA?
It was Tony Wakalo.
Okay.
He said, says, I have interest in this girl. I think she's talented. I'm like,
oh, she is actually.
Yeah. It's GoodgirlLA. And I remember there was a launch of, I think it was one of these phones.
Yeah.
And she was there and she was singing. I was like, okay, strong voice.
Yeah.
But beyond the strong voice, I'll be honest, I listened out for more, but I know that there was like more potential.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I was trying to judge anything. I was like, okay, yeah, she has a strong voice. Then I heard Far Away From Me.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, it's cool. Then we're in the studio, and when the beat played, and I was like, so many things that I do for you, and she just picked up.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew there was something. Okay, now I think I heard it.
Yeah.
And it was just easy vibes. We didn't spend an hour on the record.
Oh, wow, that's amazing, man. That's great. So I was listening to one thing that's funny is when I get off the studio, what I do in the comfort of my car is just to rejig my memory so I can be able to have a lot of residual knowledge as regards music. I play a lot of old songs, and as I was playing, I think as I was playing stuff, Spotify does this amazing thing, and it just keeps randomly popping songs, and Kitchen Street played. And in my mind, I was just driving and I was just smiling, man. And that just jigged my mind to how amazing and how much rappers actually grown in Nigeria, how people have embraced it, and how the people who actually carried it on their shoulders, how they're still just going strong. Because when you look at Junior and Pretty, Black Reverends, all those people to where we are right now, it's a long a long time, a long journey right now. I know people saying, oh, you have to be commercial, you have to sound corny like this to be able to push the records and everything. So it's great to actually see that you're still staying true to what pushes you, and still doing you as well.
Of course, thank you.
We
don't have any other choice. I guess if you truly believe in yourself, away from every other occupation in life or professional gig has its hurdles. If ours will be hearsay or opinions, then that's fine. I mean, it's better than a boss that hates you in the office.
Yeah, true. It's all good though. So I used to always get that whole it sounds like Jayz when you first started though. I wonder why, because I didn't quite hear it.
Boom. One thing was, okay, so when I was in the studio recording, I wasn't necessarily the most baritone voice. And I remember then
you're younger then.
Yes. And being young, I know Blaze had a baritone, Crystal had a baritone. So like project. So every time I projected, and I hated doubling my voice. I know. I always hate why you are rapping and you sound like two of you rapping at the same time. Like because for me, I started to study music, at least from my own perspective, and I realized that the human mind, how it listens to music is in the awesomeness of the brain machine.
Yeah, true.
It picks like per millisecond, micro, whatever it is. It picks sounds it recognizes like that. So in my head, I'm like, when I'm hearing music and I'm hearing double voice, I'm okay. So I know that it's one person, but I'm hearing two voices.
Why am I hearing two voices?
It's distracting me. So I wanted to have one takes, not double takes. They merge on. So for me to do that, I had to project. So every time I project, I hit a pitch that was that way. And to the greatest of my surprise, everybody in this industry, they talked me down without listening to what I was saying at first. And I did add this because Barry Lanes, we started here with the Hennessy VS Cast, for example.
I remember.
Barry Lanes is one of those kids that they drown him in his Kendrick-like or Kendrick-esque delivery, but are you trying to listen to what
he's saying? Are you? So it's just like you just pick up on something, because I remember Kilo Day and the song, and and you also actually just mentioned that. But I think one of the first songs I actually just heard from you was Live at 51.
Yeah,
the song on the Night House.
I'm so bad, girl.
I'm cocking to the chest.
You best way now. Cock to the chest. Call me Morris, I got chestnuts.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. And in my mind, I was just like, I still do not hear, Jayz and everything. So, and it was something we were talking about, off air, that when the listeners or when the consumers actually just think about you a certain type of way, they tend to actually keep pushing. Oh, I think you should do this. I think you should do that. And we've seen a lot of artists trying as much as they can to actually just satisfy what a vast majority of the audience are saying, and they tend to lose their essence actually.
Yeah, and you shouldn't do that, because, so for example, no shade to light-skinned people or transformed light-skinned people, but it seems like that's good for camera, that's good for TV. So if the majority of the understanding about beauty, for example, in say in the cosmetic world, maybe not immediately, but majorly is usually light skin, right? If that's what they do, does that mean every black person should bleach so that they can get a job, right? You have to stay true to yourself. So it's easy to follow the crowd or get drowned in that, but who you are, there's a purpose to who you are. And once you know that, you stay true to it, hopefully, expectantly, not hope. I don't like hopeful anymore. I like expectantly. Expectantly, you achieve the goal and the purpose that God has set for you, because there's a reason why you're unique.
True. Fantastic. And I also believe that, in a country of 200 million people, and when you tend to see, the returns that artists are getting based off the fact when they're doing shows, when they're selling merch, it's not really commensurate as regards, our numbers. Yeah, sure, we're largely a poor country or anything, but at the end of the day, I feel like if you love an artist, if you mess heavy with their sounds or anything, should try as much as we can to actually just put money back in the pocket. So it's great right now that we have streaming, because back in the day, if you're not getting endorsed or if you're not doing shows, there was literally no way to actually make income, or maybe you sold your CDs to, what's funny or what's great is how, because I tell people sometimes that, society will always evolve. Yes. And when society is evolving, sometimes it doesn't need to be like a breakdown of, say, let's go to Alaba, let's scatter it. Because I remember back in uni, and we used to buy CDs for $100, and we had, a handful of marketers actually just controlling it. Yeah. And look at how streaming came about right now. Yeah. And it's no longer a conversation. Because I remember how, we need to do something about Alaba, we need to, the government needs to step in or anything. So the government didn't do anything. So we just evolved. Yeah. And you right now, you can sit in the comfort of your room, upload your music to Spotify, wait, or Apple Music or whatever, and your checks or your money is coming to you. Yeah. So we didn't necessarily need to, what's the word right now? Go to Alaba and actually just burn everything down. It's
weird, because I had the same conversation with Donald Duke. Yeah. And we're talking. First of all, we met in Lagos. Then we caught up with conversation on the flight. Yeah. And I was saying to him, like, so if you eventually get power, I feel like you shouldn't throw away Alaba, because at the end of the day, okay, let's be honest, there was a point where they were very, very, very powerful and partial. Yeah. It was about what they wanted to do, but I feel like it's still a machine that we can kind of like use as a sound scan for physical copy. True. Yes, and I mean, I said to him, I'm like, guys, it's easy to turn that into something that works for the government. You guys are trying to arrest them. Don't worry. Just go there and ask all of them, can you give me an invoice of every artist you sold, because we want to tax them appropriately? And they can't provide it, shut that place down for 6 months. Then when you reopen, they will come and try to sue you, but they can't give you invoices, yeah? Sure. So for them to reopen it, we have trade deal with China. Yeah. I build us computers that will say, for example, let's say OC is a marketer. Mm-hmm. So OC has the computer that China will build that only them will maintain. Mm-hmm. And OC is the first marketer, so 001. Creates a website whereby the average artist can pay, say, 100 naira, even 10 naira, and generate a code for himself. Then he attaches that code to the marketer, so he embed that in the city. Yeah. So the city is going to be 001, say for me 003. So my code is 003, and you write it permanently in the city. So anywhere you play that record, the serial number will trace you back to the artist and the marketer. Yeah. So that makes it. So there's a bunch of things that we can actually just do, but it's just great to see how artists are just
eating good, making just making money off their music right now. I was telling someone the other day, I was like, yeah, it's great to listen to music, it's great to be an artist, but nobody actually understands how depressing it can be, because you're a regular kid, you have say 5-6 million in your account, you can spread it over 1 year, but as an artist, you shoot videos, you keep up appearances, you do promotions, you have to travel, and everything is still tied, you're on the back of, I need to start to do shows, or so I can be able to start to make money off the fact that I've put out this material. So I don't blame the people that that pack it up after a while and say.
But I blame them. You know why?
Why?
Your thoughts as who you are should stay within the confines of who you are and what you do.
Okay.
You're an artist. The only thing that should give you joy everlasting is making music. However, you're also a human being that is wise.
Yeah.
I hope you are a human being that is wise. So, for example, I know OC, and even you and I have spoken about certain things that is your forte.
Yeah.
So the job of the artist beyond making music is looking for people that can believe in him or her enough to help him or her get the music to the place it needs to get to. Now, before you're able to do that and beat the anxiety of not having money, you don't have to care about money. You have to care about the craft that brings the money.
True.
Then now talk to people that know how to use the craft to bring the money.
Yeah.
Now, it's not people that will say, if I have money, we'll plug it, I'll do this. No. People that can say, okay, I know that a jazz whole concert will work for this type of music and you reach an audience. We don't A&R, we don't have people think the idea of A&R is simply to just say, if you feature whiskey, they go blow. So the why I'd blame the artist is because you leave your confines and where you should master yourself, because the only thing that can't be taken away from you is the mastery of yourself.
True.
Right? Knowing who you are. So you leave that and you want to be a businessman. Everybody wants to be like Jayz. Bro, Jayz probably has a bunch of Jewish guys advising him.
Are you kidding me? So that's what I was telling someone the other day. I'm like, a whole lot of people right now focus more on the extras. Say you're a footballer, you're focusing more on how your hair looks, and it's the truth. How your hair looks, how your hair looks, the endorsements you're getting off the field, and you're not paying attention to the craft that's giving you the opportunity to become a celebrity. Bam. So that's why when back in the day when you had footballers like David Beckham and all of that way, when footballers started getting that mainstream acclaim or anything, you couldn't take away from the fact that on the field he brought it every time.
That is what informs the thing that somebody else is watching that they like. So don't get it twisted. It's what makes Vector is the fact that he's a musician. It's not the fact that he's a successful musician or a rich one. What makes me is that I make music. Now, what makes Vector a successful artist is the team that surrounds Vector.
True.
But that is by right. All I have to do is be the guy that can give you what you can take to your contacts and try to materialize into something wealthy or riches. So it's key for us to mostly ring it in the heads of everybody else. Like, artists, your goal is to strictly be an artist. Be the best that you can, so that the guy like David Beckham has all these endorsements, Cristiano Ronaldo has all these endorsements because they are great on the pitch.
Yeah, true.
They are not the most good looking people in the game, in the history of football. And they are not signing them because they are good looking. They are signing them because they are good looking people who have gifts.
Yeah, so I think that's what a lot of people who are creative people need to start to look at right now. So hey, I will play the record, we'll come back, and there's a bunch of other things I will touch on, just aside the music, politics, everything that we've seen you actually just lend your voice to right now, because it seems like you were growing way beyond just being a rapper. You're adding your voices to movements that young people are getting involved in. We protested during the NSAS protest. Funny story, I caught COVID after that day.
Oh,
I got COVID at the protest grounds and everything. But at the end of the day, I was like, well, it's for a good cause. I'd never seen something like that. Just happen. You see young people just banding together and everything. So, and it gave me a semblance of joy that young people, if we band together away from all the divisiveness and everything, we can actually change this country.
Well, of course, the change starts from us. Like, OC is playing you music that is not influenced by too much external factors.
True.
Right? And if OC is honest with what he's doing and he plays you music that heals your soul, too many people are going through things that maybe music will take their minds off.
Yeah.
Right? So we need, and what I learned from the protest then is like, go back to where you have mouth and speak.
Yeah.
Like
in your communities.
At least it's clear now that we don't have mouth at the Tollgate. so go back to where you have mouth and be the mouth.
Be the mouthpiece.
And also be willing to speak with every other person that has mouth. So it's not plenty mouth that has mouth.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the best thing. So yeah, it was a beautiful experience for me. It was I saw the power of unity for the first time. I saw a Christian make way and clean the grounds for a Muslim to pray.
Yeah,
so I saw a Muslim arrange chair for Christians to worship.
So that's why they try so much to sow divisiveness. That's why they'll always try to divide us with ethnicity, with religion, and because they know when people come together, irrespective of what you look like, you know what God you serve, where you are from, it's a band that you can't even break.
Boom. And I learned this in school, but at least in uni like that. The ideology of the average African mind is in communalism.
Yeah,
we're in community. So that's why I say it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
Right. So we must learn to communicate, because for you to be a community, you must be people that commune.
Yeah.
It's simple, and it's that simple. So if we come together in the music industry, we'll do greater things.
True.
I feel like a Davido and Wizkid will fill a Wembley, and that will be historical beyond anything else.
Yeah, true.
So we should take from that angle and start to learn. Hence why, say for example, it's easy for me to get over me and M.
Yeah.
Right, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that we need to lend our voices to whilst we are alive.
Yeah, true. I get you. We'll talk about that when we get back. Yeah. So here's a brand new song from Vector featuring Good Girl LA. It's called Eli Momo. My name is Yosi. 928 right now on the Heartbeat of Lagos. The Beats 99.9 FM. Keep it here.
Alright, what up, peeps? It's your man Vector the Viper, aka VEC, and this is the Beat 99.9 FM. Keep it locked in. Bless.
Before constantly, I always like to just bring in those throwbacks. I was Angeli, Vector the Viper, and I still have Vector in the building. My name is Yosi. The Beats 99.9 FM. It's the morning rush. We're speaking Vector, just touching on on a bunch of subjects right now. So just before the break, I was speaking about NTARS and everything that you've been involved in, just outside the music right now. So for the life of me, man, I thought you and M's beef or whatever, I thought it was just maybe you guys were just having fun or something. To be honest, I didn't know it was a real thing until I didn't know it was a real thing until I started hearing like diss tracks and everything. So I thought you guys were cool. So what really actually made you guys' relationship degenerate to that level though? Because I thought you guys were cool and
well,
yeah.
It's crazy, right? Yeah, like it really wasn't anything that most you heard in the news or what most people said. It was just I just felt like a lot of things were misrepresented.
Okay.
And I'm a straight guy.
Yeah.
You can tell by the ladies. I like when things are straightforward. Sure. Like, for example, I've tried to get on a record with somebody before. I'll save her name just because she was like, oh yeah, I'm traveling, and I'm like, yo, it's music. You do this for a living.
You can do it anywhere.
Yeah. I'm like, so I could give you time. So when do you feel you can make the record happen? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, so you know what? Let's just not do the record.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't ruin any chances of us having any decent relationship in the future.
Sure.
Right. So I like when things are straightforward and honest. Right. It doesn't have to be perfect, but at least let it be honest if you can. And I feel like things were being misrepresented. I needed to deal with that. But I think this last straw was when I started to see like attack on my work. Like, see, you can yab me, you can abuse me, it's fine, right? But don't get at anything that I'm doing that means anything to me or people around me. Sure. It gets crazy. So at that point I was like, okay, let's do this. If you're going to get at my work that I do, then I might as well show you why my work is big.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun while that lasted though.
But
I'm glad that everything's being squashed right now. And like men, you guys have shook hands and just sat down and just spoken about it right now. So 2020 was COVID everywhere. So for 2021, are we expecting you to drop like a body of work?
Oh yeah, myself and them, we had a conversation, and I'm real with that. As a matter of fact, we have a record coming out titled Crown of Clay.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything is good to go. And there's a body of work that also features like Barry Lanes, Vader, Lord Reyes, Paper Coleon.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember all these, but like it's something we're doing with like certain rappers that are affiliated with the brand that we've worked with. Yeah, so yeah, it's a progressive growth movement right now.
So are we going to see? I feel like for instance, I'm a huge fan of Childish Gambino, and not only his music, but I love the fact that he finds ways to fit into different jackets at different times. He's an amazing writer. We see him in TV shows. Like when you watch him in Atlanta, you can actually recollect the fact that this guy actually makes music. Because he does it easy. So I'm going to see you like maybe T. You're a funny guy. I tell people every time that you can't hang with Vector. You are always laughing about something. I maybe see you do like maybe TV shows, movies, a bunch of other things other than the music.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have like 2 movies under the belt.
Okay.
Right now, I feel like Usman Kamari. But yeah, for me, it's whatever it is that I have to do or that I will do, it has to be easy.
Okay.
There's no need forcing anything. So I'm not out there saying I'm an actor or whatever it is. Like I'm just trying to maximize myself to the best I can. So yes, there will be stuff happening, but I just feel like at this point, well, the music is still very, very, very much the first love. So it's that over anything else. But there are other things as well that's in the works, but I'm also willing to participate in if there's a chance to do that.
Great. So just one last thing before I let you go. Why is it that constantly, especially from African artists, when they've gotten to a certain level of success, they feel like crowning up or topping that success must come by way of international collaborations, which is weird, because I figure out that you can keep making your music without, you don't need, it's almost like I need validation from artists across the Atlantic. And you hear the amounts of money being paid, you hear you need to do this, you need to do that, you hear some not turning up for the videos or anything, and in my mind I'm just like, there are a bunch of cats that you can do stuff with on the continent or in your country, that we appreciate the fact that you are trying to put them on. So do you feel the need for, say, the fact that I've arrived right now, I've conquered my country or anything, I need to start to hop on international collaborations or something?
Well, going from like vibes before Tesla, like the journey of self-discovery, and then getting on Crossroads with Mastercraft, what I was saying with that project and the movement in general is, we need to get to a point where we understand that if at all there's any validation needed to be African or to be gifted as an African, we are already at the core of it. Like we are, like, this is Nigeria. I'm sure Nelson Mandela wasn't sleeping when you read the quote that if Africa is going to be upright, Nigeria has to kickstart. Like Nigeria is like strong focal point for that to happen. It means we're greater than we want to accept, or we're greater than we've been taught or we've been told. So in that mentality, for me, it's not about who we feature in the world to appeal. Because in Austin, Texas, we had the South by Southwest showcase, and somebody asked me this question, like, so why do you feel like African artists feel? And I'm like, I don't care. I feel like everybody's just catching up on Afrobeats now. Like, it's not like we're trying to get them to do it. It doesn't change the fact that there are some people who feel they need the influence or the validation of, say, America to explore, but to each his own. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. But for me, I want to explore Africa more. Okay. I want to uplift everything that. I'm the guy in New York at the Toyota Center, Houston, Texas, with Eyo and Agbada. Yeah. I don't get it twisted. I'm in Soho, probably trying to get like some nice jackets too. But I'm the hybrid African in my head. I'm the one who's Yoruba, but I'm also very aware of the world. So I don't see any validation coming from anywhere else except on the inside, and I expect people to take cue with that. Okay, great. Yeah. It's always a vibe, talking with you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Definitely, looking forward to the to the project when it drops. And hey, we at the Beat, we constantly support everything that you put out. Thank you. And we spoke about sampling and everything, so I'm hoping that with the next project we see a lot of that. Well, it might not be on the project, but I'm definitely going to be when you sleep at night, so you're feeling lonely. I know, in my head. I know.
Okay. Keep your fingers crossed. Thank you so much for stopping by. 9:50, ladies and gentlemen. That's been Vector the Viper. So you can catch this on YouTube. We've been streaming live, and we also put out extended clips on our Instagram as well, and also our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/thebeats999fm, then instagram.com/thebeats999fm. Yes, thank you so much. 9:50, ladies and gentlemen. It's still the morning rush. Remember, MTN Fresh at 10:30. Keep it here.
Yo, what up? This